Hey everybody and welcome back. So now let's try to understand what exactly what's exactly happening behind the scenes, right? How is the traditional algorithm working and how is the agent working for us? Let me just close this. So this is the code that is currently running, and this is what the traditional automation algorithm, this is the function that is called, right? Whenever you give a query and the traditional automation is selected, this would be the steps that would be executed, and then finally a response would be returned, right? And that's the response that we are displaying over here. What you see in traditional algorithm is that there are basic if-else statements where you will have if whether in query, then you will say that okay, the query is something regarding the weather itself. If there's schedule, then I detect a schedule or something like that. And if there's calculate in the query, and you have operations such as plus minus, multiply and divide, then it will return, it will find the numbers and it will do some basic processing, right? So traditionally what used to happen was you used to have if else statements, you had some regex and you'd perform some operations, right? But of course, with the AI agents, the approach is very different, right? Now again, this is not a very extensive example of how AI agents work, but it's just to give you a flavor on exactly what's happening behind the scenes and how is it different from your traditional automation algorithms, right? So this is a very vanilla example. Don't take it as this is how AI agents actually work. In real life example, we would be looking at a more complex and complicated AI agent in future. But if you want to get a flavor out of it, then this is how it actually works, right? Where rather than having a simple if else query or finding a particular word in your string query string, what you can do is you will have sort of a regex or a more complicated query, where if you have words such as cold, rain, sunny, temperature, forecast, and etc. So any of these words are present in your query, that's when it understands that you're talking about weather, right? So it's basically covering a more horizontal horizon than your basic traditional RPAs, right? And then similarly, the similar things happens for the other queries that you want to give it, right? If you want to schedule or manage your calendar, then you have a more better horizon of words, or it gets a more better understanding of what needs to be done. And similarly for other queries as well, or other conditions as well that you're giving to the agents. So that's what's happening behind the scene. Again, a very vanilla and very basic model, just to give you an intuition of the agents itself. Then finally it's just processing the queries, where if the approach type is traditional automation, then it is just calling the traditional automation, passing the query that we pass through the Gradio app. Else it's just calling the AI agents itself, and this is just some UI Gradio stuff that we are doing, the examples that we display and everything. And here's where we are launching the app. So this is the crux of what's happening in the background and how things are working when we query on the UI itself. Let's now switch back to the UI in the next lecture and see how the traditional algorithm and the AI agent differ in the responses that we get from them. So hit a like button if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.